On the morning of June 7, 1992, 3 women vanished from a quiet American home in Springfield, Missouri. There were no broken doors, no shattered windows, and no signs of a struggle. No one heard a scream, and more than 30 years later, no one knows what happened. Springfield, Missouri, was known as a safe Midwestern city, a place with tree-lined streets, familiar neighbors, and routines that made people feel secure. Crimes like this were not supposed to happen here, but one summer night, that sense of safety disappeared, and the city would never feel the same again. This case would later become known as the Springfield Three, and it remains one of the most haunting, unsolved mysteries in American history. The first was Suzanne Streeter, a 19-year-old who was quiet, creative, and just beginning adulthood. The second was Stacy McCall, 18 years old, outgoing, full of plans, and excited for the summer ahead. The third was Sherrill Levitt, 47 years old, Suzanne's mother, a careful and protective woman who had recently gone through a divorce. Suzanne and Stacy had just graduated from high school, and on June 6th, they spent the evening celebrating with friends. The plan was simple. They would stay the night at a friend's house, sleep, and return home in the morning. But late that night, the plan changed. Instead of staying over, Suzanne and Stacy decided to drive back to Suzanne's home on Delmar Street. They arrived sometime after 2 in the morning, and the house was dark, quiet, and completely ordinary. And this is where the timeline goes silent. No neighbor reported anything unusual, no raised voices, no footsteps, and no sounds of a struggle. Inside the house, everything appeared normal. Suzanne's dog was calm, their purses were neatly lined up with money and keys still inside, and the cars were parked outside exactly where they should have been. It looked as if the women had simply stepped out for a moment, but they never returned. The next morning, friends became concerned when Suzanne and Stacy did not answer phone calls, so they went to the house to check on them. The front door was unlocked, the television was still on, and the beds looked as though they had been slept in. Personal belongings were untouched, nothing appeared stolen, and there were no broken windows, no blood, and no signs of forced entry. Police were called, but at first, officers believed the women might return on their own, and that early assumption would cost the investigation valuable time that could never be recovered. As the hours passed, the scene began to feel unsettling. A broken porch light globe had been swept up, as if someone had taken the time to clean it. A message on the answering machine was accidentally erased, and no one knows what it contained. The family dog had been left behind. If this was a crime, it was carefully controlled, and if it was spontaneous, it left almost no evidence behind. Hundreds of people were questioned, thousands of tips were reported, and still, no arrests were ever made. Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some believe the women knew the person responsible, someone they trusted. Others believe Sherrill was the primary target, and Suzanne and Stacy were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another theory suggests a random predator had been watching the house and waiting for the right moment. Some investigators believe more than one person was involved, while others believe the truth was intentionally hidden. Despite extensive searches, no bodies were ever found. Today, the house on Delmar Street no longer exists. It has been demolished, but the questions remain. 3 women vanished without a trace, leaving behind no evidence, no answers, and no closure. Someone knows what happened that night, and until the truth comes out, the Springfield Three remain missing. This case is still unsolved,